The massive alien ship appeared without warning above Earth. It was bigger than any city, its dark metal hull blocking out the sun for millions of people below. The ship looked like a giant spear pointed at Earth's heart. Strange lights pulsed, along its sides like a slow heartbeat. President Hyun-woo Park stood in the emergency meeting room deep under the capital city. His hands shook as he watched the news reports flooding in from around the world. People were running in the streets. Cars crashed as drivers looked up at the sky instead of the road. Children cried while their parents pointed at the monster, hanging above them. "How did they get so close without us seeing them?" Hyun-woo asked. His voice was quiet, but everyone heard him. Admiral So-jin Kim looked tired. She had been awake for 36 hours straight. "Our satellites showed nothing. Our deep space scanners found nothing. They just appeared like ghosts. The alien ship had been silent for 6 hours. No messages, no demands. It just hung there like a sword waiting to fall." Then the screens in the meeting room lit up. A face appeared that made everyone step back in fear. The alien looked like a cross between a lizard and a person. Its skin was gray and covered in small scales. 2 yellow eyes stared out from a long skull. When it opened its mouth, rows of sharp teeth showed. "I am Admiral Kethvar of the Valaxian Empire," the creature said. Its voice was deep and cold. "We have come to claim this world. You will surrender in 72 hours or we will destroy every city on your planet." The screen showed images that made people sick. Burning worlds, dead cities, millions of bodies, floating in space. 17 different planets had suffered the same fate. "These worlds thought they could fight us," Admiral Kethvar continued. "They were wrong. Do not make the same mistake. You have 72 hours. The screen went black. Commander Jin-ho Lee was the first to speak. He ran Earth's spy network and knew more secrets than anyone else in the room. "We have files on the Valaxian Empire. They have never lost a war. Every planet that said no was destroyed within a week." Director Eunbi Choi controlled all the radio telescopes that looked into deep space. She had bad news. "All our colonies stopped talking to us 3 days ago. Mars Colony, Europa Base, the mining stations around Jupiter. They are all silent." Everyone knew what that meant. The aliens had already killed millions of humans in space before coming to Earth. Admiral So-jin Kim pulled up a list of Earth's space navy. It was not much to look at. 3 old cruisers that were 40 years old, 12 frigates that barely worked, a few hundred fighters that could not fly very far from Earth. "The alien ship is 5 times bigger than our largest vessel," she said. "Our weapons are toys compared to theirs. We might last 10 minutes in a real fight." Captain Min Seo-yoon commanded the cruiser Seoul's Pride. She had fought space pirates and smugglers, but never anything like this. "My ship is ready to fight," she said. "But fighting and winning are different things." President Hyun-woo Park looked around the room at the scared faces of Earth's leaders. Outside, people were already leaving the big cities. Roads were packed with cars. Airports had no more tickets to sell. Everyone wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. "What about the other nations?" asked General Won-sik Park, who commanded Earth's armies. "Will they help us fight?" "Every country is saying the same thing," replied Foreign Minister Hai-jin Lee. "We are all too weak. The aliens are too strong. Some leaders want to surrender now and hope for mercy. There will be no mercy," Commander Jin-ho Lee said quietly. "I have read the reports from the other worlds. The Valaxians do not keep prisoners. They do not make deals. They take what they want and kill everything else." The room fell silent. Outside, they could hear the sounds of the city falling apart. Car horns, sirens, people shouting. The world was ending and everyone knew it. Admiral So-jin Kim stood up. "I will prepare our ships. We cannot win, but we can make them pay for Earth. Every human life they take will cost them something, President." Hyun-woo Park nodded. Send the message to all our people. Tell them to be brave. Tell them we will not surrender without a fight. But deep in space, far beyond where any Earth telescope could see, something was watching. An old signal traveled through the darkness between stars. It was simple but clear. The mother calls her children home. Captain Dong-Hyun Seo sat in his small ship hidden behind an asteroid. He had been watching the Valaxian fleet for weeks. His ship was painted black and made no noise. The aliens did not know he was there. He typed a message into his computer. Enemy fleet confirmed. 1 dreadnought, 4 heavy cruisers, 12 destroyers. They do not know we are here. Beginning final count. The message shot out into deep space, traveling faster than light to places the Valaxians had never seen, to ships they had never detected, to people they thought were just simple farmers and miners on distant worlds. The 72-hour countdown had begun. Earth prepared to die fighting, but somewhere in the darkness, something else was preparing too, something that had been waiting. For this moment, for a very long time, the Valaxian Empire had made many enemies. They just did not know it yet. 48 hours remained before the aliens would attack. Earth's leaders sat in the same underground room, but now they were not alone. An old man in a military uniform had joined them. Most people in the room had never seen him before. Admiral Tae Yang Kang looked like any other retired soldier. His hair was gray and his face was covered in wrinkles, but his eyes were sharp and alert. He carried himself like a man who had seen terrible things and survived them all. "Who are you?" "President," Hyunwoo Park asked. He had been told this man had important information, but no one would tell him what it was. "I am the director of a project you do not know about," Admiral Tae Yang Kang replied. "It is time to tell you the truth about humanity's real defense." Dr. Hana Ryu entered the room carrying a heavy metal case. She was a small woman with tired eyes, but she moved with the confidence of someone who knew secrets that could change the world. "For the past 50 years," she began, "Earth has been sending colony ships to distant stars. The public knows about 12 of these ships. What they do not know is that we sent 47 others." She opened the case and pulled out files marked with red stamps that said, "Absolute Secret." The papers inside looked like they came from science fiction movies. "The colony ships were real," Dr. Hana Ryu continued. "But they were not the only ships we built. Project Odyssey created a second fleet, a war fleet. We call it the Black Fleet." Admiral So Jin Kim leaned forward. "That is impossible. I know about every ship we have built." "No," Admiral Tae Yang Kang said quietly. "You know about every ship we wanted you to know about. The Black Fleet was built in secret. Different factories, different workers, different money. Each ship was built by people who thought they were making parts for colony vessels." The room was completely silent. Everyone stared at the old admiral like he had just claimed the moon was made of cheese. Commander Jin-Ho Lee, who thought he knew all of Earth's secrets, spoke first. "How many ships?" 312 combat vessels, Dr. Hana Ryu answered. "Built over 5 decades, each one more advanced than anything in our regular Navy." She pulled out photographs that made everyone gasp. The ships in the pictures looked nothing like Earth's normal vessels. They were sleek and dark, covered in angles that seemed to bend light around them. They looked dangerous, even sitting still. "We used technology that officially does not exist," Admiral Tae Yang Kang explained. "For over a century, alien ships have crashed on Earth. Most people think these stories are lies. They are not. We have been studying alien technology since before your grandfather was born." Captain Min Seo Yoon could not believe what she was hearing. "Where are these ships now?" "Scattered across 42 star systems," Dr. Hana Ryu said. Each crew volunteered to leave Earth forever. They knew they might never come home. They have been waiting and watching for exactly this moment. President Hyunwoo Park felt like the world had turned upside down. Why was I not told about this? Because the project could only work if it stayed secret, Admiral Tae Yang Kong replied. If the Valaxians knew about the Black Fleet, they would have prepared for it. Surprise is our only advantage. Director Yunbi Choi, who controlled Earth's radio telescopes, had been quiet until now. The colonies that went silent 3 days, ago, she said slowly. They were not destroyed, were they? No, Admiral Tae Yang Kang smiled for the first time. They went silent because we told them to. Captain Wu Jin Han's ships are protecting them. The Valaxians think they destroyed our colonies. In reality, we simply turned off the lights. Dr. Han-Na Ryu pulled out more files. These showed star maps covered in red dots. Each dot is a Black Fleet ship. They have been watching the Valaxian Empire for decades. Every battle, every tactic, every weakness has been recorded and studied. We know how they fight because we watch them destroy 17 worlds, Admiral Tae Yang Kong said. His voice was cold now. Each dead planet taught us something new. We learned from every mistake those worlds made. Lieutenant Eugene Park, a young communications officer, had been monitoring alien radio signals. She looked confused. Sir, I'm picking up strange transmissions from the Valaxian fleet. They sound worried. What are they saying? Commander Jin Ho Lee asked. They keep asking about energy readings they cannot explain. Something about ghost signatures and phantom contacts. Lieutenant Eugene Park frowned at her computer screen. They sound scared. Admiral Tae Yang Kang and Dr. Han-Na Ryu looked at each other and smiled. The Valaxians are used to fighting people who are weaker than them, Dr. Han-Na Ryu explained. They have never fought anyone who was ready for them. Our ships have been in position for weeks, watching and waiting. Captain Bo Ram Jung's 1st Division is hiding behind the outer planets, Admiral Tae Yang Kang said. Admiral Yuna Oh's 2nd Division is coming up from below the solar system. Commander Ji-Hoon Kim's 3rd Division has been hiding in the asteroid belt for a month. The people in the room began to understand. Earth was not defenseless. Earth had been preparing for this war for 50 years. The orbital platforms around Earth, Dr. Han-Na Ryu continued, are not the simple satellites the Valaxians think they are. Each one contains weapons that can destroy a battleship. How long until our ships arrive? President Hyun-Woo Park asked. Admiral Tae Yang Kang looked at his watch. 16 hours. The Valaxians will attack in 48 hours. We will be ready. Outside, people were still running from the cities. They still thought Earth was doomed. They had no idea that their planet had become the center of the largest trap in human history. The Valaxian Empire was about to learn why Earth had survived when 17 other worlds had died. They were about to meet humanity's children, coming, home from the dark between the stars. The 72 hours were up. Admiral Kethvar sat in his command chair aboard the massive Valaxian dreadnought. Around him, his officers prepared for what they thought would be another easy victory. They had done this 17 times before. Begin. The attack, Admiral Kethvar ordered. Target their largest cities first. Make it quick and clean. The Valaxian fleet moved into position above Earth. Their weapons powered up with a deep humming sound that could be heard even in space. Energy readings spiked as the aliens prepared to burn Earth's surface. But something was wrong. Admiral, called out Sensor Officer Vextar, I am detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. They just appeared from nowhere. Admiral, Kethvar frowned. Explain. Unknown contacts materializing at multiple points. The energy readings are enormous, bigger than anything we have seen from these humans before. Space around Earth suddenly filled with light. Not the light of explosions, but the light of ships emerging from hyperspace. Ships that were dark and sleek and completely unknown to the Valaxian Empire. Admiral Bo Ram Jung stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Eternal Soul. It was 3 times larger than Earth's biggest cruiser and covered in armor that seemed to drink in starlight. Behind her ship, 47 other vessels appeared like ghosts, becoming solid. "This is Admiral Boram Jung of the Human Black Fleet," she broadcast on all frequencies. "You have threatened our home. You will pay for that mistake." The Valaxians stared at their screens in shock. Where had these ships come from? How had humans built vessels this advanced without anyone knowing? Captain Woojin Han's 2nd Division rose up from behind Earth's moon. His ships had been waiting there for 3 weeks, powered down and invisible. Now they lit up like deadly stars, weapons charging and shields crackling with energy. "2nd Division in position," Captain Woojin Han reported. "All targets locked, ready to engage." Commander Yuna Oh brought her 3rd Division up from the asteroid belt. Her ships had been hiding among the rocks, looking like nothing more than metal ore to Valaxian sensors. Now they revealed themselves as warships designed for one purpose: killing Valaxians. Admiral Kethvar felt something he had not experienced in 50 years of conquest. Fear. "How many ships?" he demanded. "Still counting, sir," Sensor Officer Vextar replied, his voice shaking. "At least 200, maybe more. They are surrounding us." On Earth's surface, Colonel Ji-hun Kim smiled as he activated the orbital defense grid. What the Valaxians thought were simple communications satellites suddenly unfolded like deadly flowers. Hidden weapons emerged from fake solar panels. Missile tubes opened from what looked like weather stations. "Orbital defenses online," Colonel Ji-hun Kim announced. "All platforms ready to fire." The Valaxians found themselves caught in a perfect trap. Human ships surrounded them from every direction. Above, below, and all around, Earth's Black Fleet had them locked in a cage of steel and fire. "This is impossible," Admiral Kethvar whispered. "Humans are primitives. Where did they get this technology?" His answer came when Captain Hai Rim Song's voice filled the Valaxian communication channels. "We learned from watching you destroy 17 worlds. Each dead planet taught us how to kill you better." The first shots came from Earth itself. Colonel Ji-hun Kim's orbital platforms opened fire with weapons that tore through Valaxian shields like paper. The aliens had designed their defenses to stop human missiles and lasers. They had never planned for weapons built using their own technology. Valaxian ships exploded in bright flashes as Earth's hidden defenses struck them. Their shields, so effective against primitive weapons, offered no protection against guns that used Valaxian power sources and Valaxian targeting systems. "Return fire!" Admiral Kethvar screamed. "Destroy those platforms!" But before his gunners could respond, Admiral Boram Jung's 1st Division struck. The Eternal Soul fired a weapon that the Valaxians recognized with horror. It was their own plasma cannon design, but improved and made more deadly. The Valaxian heavy cruiser Storm of Conquest vanished in a ball of superheated gas. Its shields had been designed to stop Valaxian weapons. They could not handle Valaxian weapons built by humans who had studied them for 50 years. Captain Woojin Han's ships attacked from the moon's shadow. His destroyers moved like dancers, spinning and weaving between Valaxian fire, while their own guns spoke with voices of thunder. Each human ship fought like it knew exactly what its enemy would do next, because they did know. Commander Yuna Oh's voice came over the battle communications. "Valaxian Battle Pattern 7 detected. Switching to Counter Formation 12. The human ships moved like they were reading the aliens' minds. Every Valaxian tactic had been seen before, studied, and countered. The Empire's greatest military secrets had become their greatest weakness. Admiral Kethvar watched his fleet die around him. Ships that had conquered star systems were being torn apart by humans who should have been helpless. His flagship shook as human weapons found their mark again and again. "Sir," Communications Officer Ralthek called out, "we are receiving a transmission from the human commander." Admiral Boram Jung's face appeared on the Valaxian screens. She looked calm and confident, like someone who had already won. "Admiral Kethvar," she said, "your empire has been watching us for weeks, trying to understand how primitives built ships like these. The answer is simple. We are not primitives. We never were." Behind her, the bridge of the eternal soul showed, technology that was clearly beyond anything Earth should have possessed. But it was also clearly human, built by human hands and human minds. "We have been waiting for you," Admiral Boram Jung continued. "Waiting and preparing. Every world you destroyed made us stronger. Every life you took taught us how to take yours." The Valaxian flagship shuddered as more human weapons struck its hull. Shields that had protected the Empire for centuries were failing against enemies who understood them completely. "This is not possible," Admiral Kethvar said again. But the burning wrecks of his fleet proved that it was very possible indeed. The Black Fleet had come home, and they had brought death with them. The battle was not going as Admiral Kethvar had planned. Half his fleet was dead or dying. Human ships danced around his remaining vessels like predators playing with wounded prey. But the worst part was not the dying. The worst part was the fear. Captain Hiram Song's voice filled the Valaxian communication channels again. This time she was not talking to the fleet. She was talking to individual ships, calling them by name and describing their weaknesses. "Valaxian. Cruiser Blade of Victory," she said calmly. "Your port shield generator has a cooling problem. It will fail in 37 seconds. Your captain knows this but has not told his crew." The Valaxians stared at their screens in horror. How could the humans know such specific details about their ships? "Destroyer Knight's Edge," Captain Hiram Song continued. "Your weapons computer has a virus that was planted 6 months ago. It will turn your guns on your own ships when we send the activation signal." Admiral Kethvar felt his blood turn cold. How do they know these things? His answer came from Admiral Jeho Nam, whose ship had just appeared next to the dying Valaxian flagship. The human vessel was smaller than the dreadnought, but its weapons were already cutting through the alien's armor like it was made of paper. "We know because we have been watching you for 70 years, Admiral Jeho Nam broadcast. Every battle you fought, every ship you built, every tactic you used. We were there, invisible and patient, learning how to kill you." The truth was, worse than Admiral Kethvar had imagined. The humans had not just built a secret fleet. They had been spying on the Empire for decades. Commander Subin Jang led her boarding parties onto the Valaxian heavy cruiser Stormbringer. The alien crew fought hard, but they were fighting enemies who knew their ship better than they did. The human soldiers wore armor that looked like it came from a nightmare. It was black and angular, covered in plates that seemed to absorb light. But the terrifying part was not how it looked. The terrifying part was what it was made from. "That armor," one dying Valaxian officer whispered. "It looks like ours, but different." Commander Subin Jang removed her helmet, showing a human face that was cold and determined. "It is your armor. We took it from the ships we destroyed on Kepler Prime, and from the garrison we eliminated on Vega 7, and from the fleet we ambushed at Wolf 359. The Valaxian officer's eyes went wide. Those were Empire victories, worlds that had surrendered or been conquered. How could humans have been there? "You thought you were conquering primitive worlds," Commander Subin Jang explained as her soldiers secured the ship. "You never noticed the human traders and miners and refugees who watched you work. We have been everywhere you have been. We learned from every world you destroyed." Dr. Kyung-ho Bae's voice came over the fleet communication system. He was broadcasting from one of the Black Fleet's science vessels, and his message made every Valaxian in the system feel sick with terror. "Attention, Valaxian forces," he said. "Your weapons, your shields, your engines, your life support systems. We built all of them. Not your versions, but better versions. Each system in our ships was designed by studying your technology and improving it." He paused to let that sink in. We know every weakness because we put those weaknesses there. Every flaw in your designs exists because we wanted it to exist. The remaining Valaxian ships tried to retreat, but Captain Yan Su Lim's stealth. Destroyers were waiting for them. Her ships had been invisible throughout the battle, moving like ghosts through the combat zone. Valaxian fleet, Captain Yan Su Lim announced. You are not leaving this system. Ever. Her destroyers appeared around the fleeing aliens like sharks rising from dark water. The Valaxians found themselves trapped again, surrounded by enemies. They could not see until it was too late. Admiral Kethvar's flagship was dying. His crew was dead or wounded. His empire's mighty fleet had been destroyed by humans who should have been helpless prey. But the worst moment came when Captain Minseo Yoon appeared on his communication screen. She was the same human officer who had commanded Earth's pathetic defense force, the woman who had been ready to die fighting with 3 old cruisers against his mighty dreadnought. Now she sat on the bridge of a ship that was more advanced than anything the Empire had ever built. Admiral Kethavar, she said quietly, I want you to know something before you die. The ship you are looking at, the ship that is about to kill you, was built by humans you thought were simple miners on a colony world you conquered 5 years ago. The alien admiral felt the universe spinning around him. That is impossible. The colony of New Seoul, Captain Minseo Yoon continued. You thought you destroyed it. You thought all the humans there were dead, but half of them were already gone when you arrived. They had been building this ship in secret, building it to come home and kill you. She leaned forward, and Admiral Kethavar could see the cold anger in her human eyes. Every world you conquered, every species you destroyed, every life you ended, they all had friends and family who escaped to warn us. The Empire has not been conquering the galaxy. The Empire has been creating its own executioners. The final blow came from an unexpected source. Lieutenant Eugene Park, the young communications officer from Earth's Defense Council, appeared on the Valaxian screens. But she was not on Earth. She was on a Black Fleet command ship, wearing the uniform of a fleet admiral. Admiral Kethvar, she said, I lied to you. I am not a junior officer who happened to intercept your communications. I am Admiral Eugene Park, commander of the Black Fleet's Intelligence Division. I have been listening to your fleet's radio traffic for 6 months. The young woman who had seemed so innocent and helpless was actually one of humanity's most dangerous. Spies. Every order you gave, every plan you made, every weakness you revealed in casual conversation, I heard all of it. Your own words taught us how to destroy you. Admiral Kethavar's ship finally died around him. As the life support failed and the lights went out, he heard one last human voice. It was Admiral Tae Yang Kang, the old man who had started the Black Fleet project 50 years ago. The Empire made one mistake, the Admiral said quietly. You assumed that because we looked weak, we were weak. You never considered that we might be hiding our strength. You never thought that victims might become hunters. In the darkness of his dying ship, Admiral Kethvar finally understood. The humans had not just survived the Empire's threat. They had turned it into their greatest weapon. And now that weapon was pointed at the Empire's heart. The Valaxian fleet was gone. Pieces of alien ships drifted through space around Earth like metal snow. A few escape pods floated among the wreckage, but Admiral Su Young Choi's patrol ships were already collecting them. There would be no survivors. To warn the Empire. President Hyunwoo Park stood in the command center, watching the aftermath of humanity's first real space battle. The screens showed Earth's Black Fleet moving through the debris, efficient and deadly. These were not the desperate defenders he had expected to die fighting. These were professional killers who had just finished their work. How many of our ships did we lose? He asked Admiral Tae Yang Kang. 3 destroyers damaged, 1 cruiser with minor hull breaches, 0 deaths. The old admiral's voice was calm, like he was reporting the weather. The Valaxians never had a chance. Captain Minseo Yoon appeared on the main screen. Behind her, the bridge of her ship hummed with activity as her crew prepared for the next phase of the operation. "Mr. President," she said, "we are ready to begin Phase 2. Our ships are moving to their assigned positions throughout the galaxy." Phase 2. President Hyun-woo Park had learned about it only hours before. The Black Fleet was not just going to defeat the Valaxian fleet at Earth. They were going to destroy the entire empire. Commander Ji-woo Kwan's voice came through the communication system from somewhere deep in space. "Liberation Fleet Alpha has reached the Valaxian home system. All targets are identified. Orbital defenses are neutralized, ready to begin surface operations." The Valaxian Empire had 17 conquered worlds spread across dozens of star systems, but they also had 17 human fleets, each one positioned to strike at exactly the same moment. Dr. Hana Ryu pulled up a galaxy map covered in flashing red lights. Each light was a Black Fleet task force moving into position around a Valaxian world. Every planet they conquered, every space station they built, every military base they established, she explained to the stunned political leaders. "We have been watching it all. Our people have been living among their conquered populations for years, waiting for this moment." Admiral Bo-ram Jung's 1st Division was already moving toward the Empire's military headquarters on Valax Prime. Her massive dreadnoughts cut through space like black arrows, carrying weapons that could crack planets. The Empire's capital is protected by 400 defensive platforms and 50 battleships, she reported. "They think their home is safe. They are wrong." Captain Woo Jin Han led the attack on the Empire's main shipyard at Kepler Station. The facility was building new dreadnoughts to expand Valaxian power. Instead, it would become the grave of Valaxian ambition. "Shipyard defenses are active," he announced, "but they are defending against their own weapons. They cannot stop ours." The Black Fleet's attacks began simultaneously across the galaxy. 17 different worlds saw human ships appear in their skies at exactly the same moment. The Empire's communication network lit up with panic signals and desperate calls for help. But there would be no help. Admiral Eugene Park's intelligence division had spent years mapping every Valaxian communication relay and hyperspace beacon. When the attacks began, they destroyed the Empire's ability to coordinate its defense. "Valaxian High Command has lost contact with all outer systems," Lieutenant Eugene Park reported. "They know they are under attack, but they do not know by whom or how many ships we have." Commander Yuna O's ships struck the Empire's main research facility on Vega Prime. The installation contained the Empire's most advanced weapons and their plans for future conquests. Now it contained only fire and death. "Research station secured," she announced. "All Valaxian military secrets are now in human hands. The Empire has no more technological advantages." President Hyun-woo Park watched the reports flood in from across the galaxy. Human ships were winning battles that should have been impossible. Planets that had been under Valaxian control for decades were being liberated in hours. "How is this possible?" he asked. "How did we build such a powerful force?" "In secret?" Admiral Tae Yang Kang smiled. "We had help. The species the Empire conquered did not all die. Many escaped to warn us. Many more stayed behind to help us plan this moment." The truth was even more incredible than President Hyun-woo Park had imagined. The Black Fleet was not just human. It included survivors from every world the Empire had destroyed. Aliens who had spent years learning human technology and human tactics, all united in their desire for revenge. Captain Hai-Rim Song's voice came from the Empire's former capital. "Valax Prime has surrendered. The Emperor is dead. The Imperial Council has agreed to our terms." The terms were simple. The Valaxian Empire would be dissolved. All conquered worlds would be freed. Any Valaxian who had participated in the conquest would face trial for war crimes. Colonel Ji-hun Kim led the liberation of Earth's outer colonies. Mars, Europa, and the Jupiter mining stations had been under Valaxian occupation for only 3 days, but their people had suffered enough. "All colonies are free," he reported. "The occupation forces are destroyed. The people are safe." Dr. Kyung-ho Bae established the new government center on the former empire's capital world. Representatives from all 17 liberated species would work together to build something better than the empire they had destroyed. "The Galactic Liberation Council is now in session," he announced. "Humanity will take its place as an equal member, not as a conqueror." Commander Subin Jang's forces secured the Empire's prison worlds. Millions of captured beings from dozens of species were freed from Valaxian labor camps and slave colonies. "The camps are empty," she reported. "The prisoners are free. They want to thank humanity for remembering them." Captain Yon-Su Lim's stealth ships began the long work of hunting down the Empire's scattered remnants. Some Valaxian commanders had fled to distant systems, hoping to rebuild their power. They would find no sanctuary. "Pursuit operations are ongoing," she announced. "No Valaxian military unit will escape justice." 6 months later, Captain Min Seo-yoon stood on the bridge of her ship as it orbited the former Valaxian capital. The world below was rebuilding under the protection of the Galactic Liberation Council. Ships from dozens of species moved peacefully through space that had once known only war. "Admiral," her communications officer called out, "we are receiving a message from Earth." President Hyun-woo Park appeared on the screen. Behind him, the Earth's sky was clear and blue. No alien ships blocked out the sun. No threats hung over. Humanity's home. "Captain Yoon," he said, "the people of Earth want to thank you and all the Black Fleet crews. You saved not just our world, but the entire galaxy." Captain Min Seo-yoon looked out at the stars. Somewhere among them, human ships continued to patrol and protect. The species that had once faced extinction in 72 hours had become the galaxy's guardians. "Mr. President," she replied, "we did not save the galaxy. We freed it. There is a difference." The Empire had ordered Earth's surrender. Instead, they had awakened something that had been waiting in the dark between the stars. Humanity's patience, humanity's anger, and humanity's promise that no species would ever again face what they had almost endured. The galaxy was free, and humanity would make sure it stayed that way.